morning, everyone. So just want to give you a quick recap and answer any questions you may have about the incident that we had downtown last night, early morning hours, actually this morning, early morning hours, where someone was shot. Multiple people were shot in front of a nightclub during a very, very busy night in the downtown area. So what we have to, or we would like for you to know at this point, is the fact that a 16-year-old was the victim. What we have learned so far is that this 16-year-old was feuding with someone on social media, and they ran into each other in the downtown area. Someone with the individual who the victim was feuding with took a gun out and shot the victim, and three other innocent bystanders. So it's very unusual for something like this to happen, but it also brings up the concern about what is a juvenile doing, out and about, especially during that time of night, and then someone not thinking about the consequences for their actions when they're trying to hurt someone, in the process hurt other innocent people. So if you recall, not too long ago, we had a very significant series of events in the downtown area, the Immerse event, where literally thousands of people came into the downtown area, and it was a non-issue event, right? Everyone came, had a great time, and enjoyed themselves to the fullest. But unfortunately, sometimes there is a small percentage of individuals who capitalize on opportunities, and I believe this is what happened last night. Someone came out who could care less about others and took action against someone who they had a problem with, and in the process, other people were also injured. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt, non-life-threatening injuries, and that's what we have so far. At this point, rather than me going on, I just like to turn it over to you, just in case you have some specific questions about this past weekend.
How quickly were you guys able to respond?
We were there, literally. You had officers who were at Wall Street, officers who were at the Beecham, officers who were working part of the downtown detail, and literally when everything went out, officers were able to come into the area quickly. Unfortunately, though, there were so many people that everyone just scattered. So it also, thanks for that question. It also goes to show that you could have an officer just about in every corner, every step, and there's always the potential for something to occur. But the officers were there, and they were able to respond quickly to the situation.
So do you have a suspect in custody, and is that suspect also a teenager?
We have leads. Our investigative team are working on leads right now, but we do ask that if anyone has any specific information related to that shooting incident, to please make that available to us as quickly as possible.
And you had said the feud was involving a couple of people on social media. Are you thinking it's limited to one person who pulled the trigger?
So what we have so far is that a 16-year-old was having some type of feud on social media with another individual. That individual he ran into, or they ran into each other in the downtown area, and someone on the other side of the victim had a gun, fired at the victim, and struck the victim and three other people.
So a single shot hit the victim and three casualties?
Don't know exactly if any round went. We know that 4 individuals were hit. We know that the intended target was the 16-year-old.
Just unknown as to how many shots?
Correct. Yes.
Injuries to the 3 others?
Non-life-threatening injuries, but again, innocent bystanders who had nothing to do with the incident.
So does this by any chance have to do with the other shooting late last night on the Bronx?
Not at all. That's the, but here's another concern, right? You had in that incident, you had a 13-year-old, a 17-year-old, and a 25-year-old at 10:30 at night who were planning to go into the downtown area. Shouldn't happen, right? Thankfully, none of those victims were seriously hurt, and we're still trying to piece together the information as far as what actually happened there. Again, if someone has any information regarding that incident, to please bring it forward, but completely separate incidents.
So how many shootings did you respond to over the weekend? How busy the weekend was it downtown?
So we had a couple of shootings, not only in the downtown area, but over in the east side, we had one over by Goldenrod, South Goldenrod, where a couple of individuals in cars shot at each other. We had another incident in the west side of the city where multiple rounds were fired. And then we had an incident in the on the railroad tracks near downtown where someone was shot, but that person didn't even want to prosecute. So it was a very unusual weekend where we had a higher number than usual number of shootings. And you know, you ask the question, why? Really, that's something that we are trying to figure out ourselves. What drives someone to pull out a gun and try to hurt someone and not think about the consequences for their actions? So we will continue to monitor those investigations, and as we develop more leads or make an arrest, we'll make that information available to you.
What's being done going forward to be sure that these kind of shootings don't continue to happen in this area, this entertainment district?
Yeah. So a lot of progress has been made, believe it or not. The Downtown Development Board has really taken the lead in making sure that funding is made available so that we can put more license plate readers and more cameras added to our crime center, that happens. Our business community, the nightclubs, all of them have been gathering at meetings. We've been discussing ideas on what potentially can be done so collectively we can minimize some of the incidents that have occurred. But one thing to note, a lot of the incidents, actually, not even a fraction of the incidents have happened inside the nightclubs. This is stuff that's happening outside. And the question is, how many people are coming into the downtown area just to hang out, just to be out on the streets? So we have to figure out a path that hopefully will allow us to control that better. And this is very important to the mayor. This is very important to the leadership in the city of Orlando. And just right before I came here, had a discussion about what it is that maybe we could be doing moving forward, because it is something that is very, very important to the leadership here at the city.
And what specifically has the police force been doing, especially in light of the deadly shooting downtown?
So remember when we had the homicide incidents that took place, or the couple of homicides that took place within a couple of days in the downtown area? So since then, we have modified the number of officers that we have in the downtown area. The number of arrests that are being made in the downtown area are quite different than in previous times, when you would do a correlation between the number of disturbances and arrests. Before, there were less arrests and a lot more disturbances. Now there's about an even number. If you come into the downtown area and you're going to break the law and it's a arrestable offense, you will get arrested in the downtown area. Traffic stops are taking place, obviously, that merit a traffic stops. A lot of guns have been recovered during that process at times. Our parking lots is an area that our parking garages is an area that we feel is very important that we monitor closely. But with the addition of the license plate readers, with the addition of more cameras downtown, I think that will continue to show the improvements that we have made. Again, I'll revert back to the event that I mentioned, where several weeks ago, we had a very significant event in the downtown area and we had no issues. So we cannot tie what a small percentage of individuals tend to do at times that are outside of what the norm is for the downtown area, which is thousands of people coming down to having a good time. But unfortunately, once in a while, someone comes in and just ruins it.
Chief, you're mentioning 7 shootings over the course of one night, though. One of the big commonalities here seems to be these are kids. We're talking about kids. We're not talking about adults. You're talking kids who are under 18.
Well, and not all of the incidents can be tied to a juvenile, right? But nationally, we have seen an uptick in the number of shooting incidents. Now, for our department, believe it or not, in June, mid-year, we had a 20% increase in the number of shootings and the number of victims compared to the previous year. We modified, and this was around the time when we had the homicides downtown, we modified our approach, we modified or we reallocated our resources, and now we're only seeing a minus 1%, maybe up 1% compared to last year. We turned it around almost 20%, right? That is huge. And that's the way that we need to make sure we do business, that we look at our data, that we adjust our resources, but we need the collaboration of our business community. We need the collaboration of our families out there who have children who maybe are not supervised to the extent that they should be. We need everyone coming together to address situations like this.
So the youngest victim is 16 in last night's shooting.
The one immediately in the downtown area, 16. The other incident that happened by Lake Eola, one of the victims was 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, again, I'm going to ask the question about suspects. Anybody that we're looking for, what can we tell the public?
We're working on leads. We're working on leads, but of course, as always, the more information we received, the better it is for us to solve these situations quickly.
And Chief, as a follow-up from before, just to clarify, when you say you've modified the number of officers downtown, assuming you're meaning you've added more, if you can kind of explain that a little bit.
So think about this. On any given night in the downtown area, when we have a busy night like this, we probably have more officers on patrol working those special details than most small law enforcement agencies have total in Orange County, right? And actually in Central Florida. So it is a huge group of officers that are responding to or working those details. So we don't take that lightly. Obviously, it is a significant expense that we know we have to put in place, but the number of officers, both on duty and extra duty, because a lot of the business community hire officers to work special details during special events. The presence is huge. And even then, think about this. In that incident downtown, there were officers literally within 20 yards of those individuals involved in that argument. And someone felt empowered to go ahead and do that. It's rare, but every once in a while, someone unfortunately does that, and again, they're going to have to live with with the consequences of their actions.
Two more questions. About that initial response, though, downtown this morning, were efforts made to clear out the crowds? Because we saw a lot of people still lingering hours after this happened.
So we, of course, set up a perimeter near where the area was that the shooting took place, and actually one person tried to argue and fight one of the officers who got arrested in the process while they were trying to secure the scene. But it was around the time when all the nightclubs were now beginning to dump all their people, meaning they were beginning to close their doors. So that means everyone was coming out. They actually asked, we have a code that allows for us to, when we mention we need this done, allows all resources throughout the city to come down to help with the process. And that's what happened last night. We brought in even additional resources to make the process of emptying the downtown area more possible or feasible.
One of the witnesses mentioned that an officer may have been injured. Is that accurate?
Minor injuries. No one was, but yeah, we had a minor injury to one of our officers, but nothing. Yeah, one I believe, right? I don't think it was more than that. We'll clarify that for you.
But that's not included in the 4 count. That's 4 people injured.
Yeah, no, yeah, correct. No officers was injured as a result of the shootings. So. Okay, and well, so I'm going to take care of him in Spanish, and I think we're done. All right, okay. So, anoche hubo un incidente aquí en la zona de downtown donde una persona de 16 años que estaba teniendo una discusión con otra persona en las redes sociales, se confrontaron y un amigo de una de esas personas sacó un arma de fuego y le disparó al muchacho de 16 años y a la misma vez hirió a 3 otras personas. Ahora mismo estamos trabajando en alguna información que tenemos para poder identificar quiénes fueron las personas responsables y esperamos resolver los incidentes en el futuro. Pero si alguna persona tiene alguna información la cual pueda ayudarnos en la investigación, que por favor no dé esa información para poder hacerlo.
¿Las personas heridas cómo se encuentran?
Todas las heridas no son nada serio en el sentido de que alguien quizás vaya a poder perder la vida. Todo el mundo espera que se recupere de las heridas que sufrieron.
¿Qué es lo que más les preocupa a ustedes como autoridades?
Me preocupa la edad de una persona de 16 años en una zona, obviamente, donde está reservada para adultos, pero se aprovechó porque era Halloween para venir disfrazado y desafortunadamente no se pudo captar que estaba ahí. Pero también la persona que hirió al niño de 16 y las otras 3 personas que no pensó sobre sus consecuencias, sobre sus acciones y tomó una acción la cual hirió a 3 personas que no tenían que ver nada con esa discusión. Eso es desafortunadamente algo lo cual me preocupa a mí y nos debe preocupar a todos.
Entiendo que fueron 2 tiroteos los que hubo ayer.
Hubo un tiroteo separado, no tuvo que ver nada con esta situación que ocurrió cerca del lago Lake Eola, donde 3 víctimas, 3 muchachas, una de 13, una de 17, una de 25, fueron heridas. Según su historia, una persona manejando en un carro le disparó y fueron heridas en el proceso. Todavía estamos investigando y estamos tratando de figurar exactamente qué fue lo que sucedió.
¿Hay una ordenanza que está permitiéndole, o en todo caso a la policía, orientarle a los dueños de restaurantes, de bares y lugares públicos que cierren un poco más temprano, incluso que le bajen el sonido a la música? ¿Esto que ocurrió puede ser la pauta para exigir más seguridad?
No, pero siempre hemos estado en conversación con nuestros negocios para poder entonces figurar qué es la mejor manera que podemos hacer las cosas en el downtown. Y en este caso, creo que todo lo que hemos hecho hasta ahora ha sido coordinado. Siempre hay una oportunidad para poder quizás hacer algo diferente.
He llamado a los dueños de bares, a los padres de familia por el tema del uso de armas.
Bueno, más a las familias que tengan conocimiento que un ser querido tenga una arma de fuego, salga con una arma de fuego, especialmente cuando vaya a salir a las zonas de los clubes nocturnos. Eso no es una situación donde deben estar armados. Eso es una situación de cuando tengan alguna discusión o tengan una pelea con alguna persona que vayan a resolverlo con la arma de fuego. Así no se resuelven las cosas. Okay? All right. All right. Thank you all very much.